So right now we're going to go over our wide pin down. So a wide pin down screen is an off the ball screen where the player receiving the ball is typically wider or further away from the passer than the screener is. So right now the chair is our screener. Okay, we have DJ up top as the passer, and we're going to put the player receiving the screen in the corner. Now, before we even use this screen, the most important thing is how we set up our defensive player. So we want to always have two options. So our first option when we're using this pin down is we have to be able to have our defender know that I can use the screen, but I can also cut back door and reject the screen. All right, so what I want to do is there's two ways I'm going to set this up. The first one is I'm going to create space and come to 2 feet, and this will give me a good dynamic advantage to sprint off the screen or sprint back door. The second option we're going to do, and really good shooters get good at this, is to dig their shoulder into the defender. So I'm going to walk and dig into the defender, and I'm going to give him a little nudge to create space, and then I'm going to sprint off the screen and read the screener's defender and my defender, okay? So let's go over a couple options now that we use the screen. So I don't care as you're setting this up and you're practicing this at home, whether you come to 2 feet or you get the motion of digging into your defender, okay? First option we're going to use here now is we're going to come off this screen and I'm going to go and I'm going to curl. So passers up top, I nudge or I come to 2 feet. As I'm using this, I'm peeking over my shoulder to see where my defender is going. Even though I'm peeking here, I can see what the screener's defender is doing, okay? And we're going to go right now, our defender's trailing and the big defender is just going to soft hedge. So a soft hedge right here is right here. They don't want to leave their guy. They don't want to let him slip to the basket. So as I come off this, the biggest key is that you're finding space. You're not predetermining what you're doing. So right now the space is at the elbow. I'm curling off this tight. My defender's trailing. And as I catch this from the passer, I'm continuing to get space. And I'm either going right up into my shot or I'm driving it downhill or into space. Okay, so that first option is tight curl. The second option now, as I start here in the corner, I dig into my defender. As I go to come off, my defender now is either trailing or going under. But the biggest thing is this screener's defender is dropped. So they're dropped and wide. So now you can see this space is up top. It's not a curl to the elbow, it's a flash to the basketball. So now as I come off this, I come to 2 or I dig. I'm coming here, I'm peeking. I'm seeing that my defender is, let's just say he's going under. The big is dropped. I'm flashing to the basketball laterally into space. And on this, the two options would be to catch and shoot. It would be to continue laterally. So if my defender goes under and they're expecting to close out right here on me, I'm going to catch and continue laterally into a shot, right? And obviously when we get into teamwork stuff, that also gives me the option to kick back to my teammate who just passed, okay? So we've gone tight curl, we've gone flash. Next option here, I dig in, I go to come off, I'm going to pop behind the screen. So as I go under here, my defender goes under, this big is dropped again. Now all I'm doing is pushing off my defender and I'm popping into space. So now the space is right behind the screen. So this is a good option for really good shooters now to find space into their shot. But then the other option here is we're reading our defender. So if my defender goes over the screen this way, I'm laterally into space for a shot. If he now gets over the screen, goes under, and then comes at me, I'm getting lateral this way. Okay, so we're talking about just finding our shot right now, not so much getting downhill to the basket. Obviously on all these options, if you read that your defender's flying at you, you're driving downhill, but we're trying to read options to get into our shot. So we've gone tight curl, we've gone flash, we've gone pop behind or hide behind this screen, right? And we're able to get laterally. The last part is if I got a really quick defender and he thinks that he can meet me over the top, I go to come off. Let's just say the big defender is high hedging here, drop, doesn't matter. But my guy tries to cheat and get over the top, I'm fading back out to the corner, right? And now I'm playing catch and shoot. If he's chasing me, I'm getting downhill to the basket or into our pull-up. All we do on these game situations is we rep out the options so that when you're playing in a game, again, you're not predetermining. All you're doing is peeking and reading. You're seeing what the big defender's doing, and then you're going into your option. And you've practiced every single option, so you have multiple moves off of each one, okay? So when we get into our workout now, we're going to rep out tight curl. We're going to rep out flash. We're going to rep out pop behind, and we're going to rep out our fades. right? And it's up to you to catch and shoot, get lateral, get downhill, be creative with it. Imagine what your defender is doing in a game. Or here is the on-ball defender is going to trail the player coming off the screen, and then the player guarding the screen is going to zone off. So they're going to be right here. Shea's going to find space at the elbow. This guy doesn't commit, right? Because if he commits, he'll have a slip. So he's just trying to keep everybody in front of him zoning off. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Second option on our wide pin down, Shea's going to find space now, flashing towards the basketball. So I'm trailing him as the on-ball defender. Player guarding the screen. He's going to start soft edge here, right? Their hand is making sure that this guy doesn't slip to the basket. And as this player goes and uses the screen, this big's going to open up and be zoning it. So he's going to try and keep everything in front. You can see right now the space is in between the screener and the passer. Okay, so we're going to go flash for a 3. Third option on our wide pin down now, Shea's going to pop behind the screen. So this is a late read. So you're going to see here, as Shea goes to use the screen, I'm trailing like I've been doing. As I get to the screen, I'm nudging and trying to go under. Now 3 things are going to happen, right? As I go under, Christian's going to flip it. Shea's going to hide behind. And now this defender who is guarding the screen just went from a soft edge here. He can't get over to stop this as well, right? So those 3 things all happen like this. It's a late read. He hides behind. Yep. There you go. Fourth option on our wide pin down, Shea's going to find space off of a fade. So there's a couple different ways that this is going to happen. The first one, as I trail him, Shea goes to go off this screen. All right, I try and shoot the gap here. So I try to get over and beat him over the top. And what Shea wants to do is he wants to engage and force me to make a decision. So now as he bumps me and starts to fade, Christian may even flip this screen. I have to decide whether I want to go over the top or under again. Okay, and while I'm making that decision and whatever way I choose, he's already sprinted out to the corner. We have a fade for a shot, okay? The next option, which is the same thing, as I go and trail, I try to bump under again, and right when he sees me bump under, he flips, and now we're getting out to the corner as well. Okay, so he's getting his feet set, getting right up into that shot. Again, leaving himself multiple options and reading the defender and finding a shot. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Yep. Fade. Shit.